Paul, we might see the quad tonight. She was practicing it this morning and in warm-up, and she was going to make the decision after warm-up tonight.
Well, she landed a nice one in practice this morning. I didn't see her land it in the warm-up earlier, but she is planning to do the quad, the first jump in the program.
And that would indeed be Olympic history.
It wasn't quite fully rotated. And that triple lutz certainly does not help her medal hopes here.
Well, one of the things that Surya has received a large degree of criticism about is her artistic aspect of her skating. What I find somewhat interesting out here this evening is that in this performance, she's elected to portray a toreador, which traditionally has been a male role. And in women's figure skating, I find that somewhat interesting. Flip. I just wonder, with those two mistakes now, can she hold a medal position? Triple lutz. All in all, not a bad performance. She had two mistakes. I think she's come a long way artistically in a year, but still she is a little bit rough around the edges. Her entrances into her jumps are very cautious, but overall I think she probably is very pleased with that performance.
And not only are the entrances to her jumps cautious, but there's quite often so very little flow coming out of any of them. And that's one of the things that's paramount on the judges' scorecard, the amount of flow you carry into a jump, the amount of flow you carry out of a jump. And for Surya, it's something that
isn't there yet, and we can only hope that she can develop that if she has any serious aspirations about becoming a serious contender in this event. The thing that I find somewhat confusing here is a lack of direction in terms of priorities. I think we're going to look at her attempted quad, which to me is something that she continues to strive for, but I think she pays a price. It definitely was cheated. There's at least a good quarter turn cheat. Here we see her coach, Didier Cagaway, who obviously is delighted at the fact that that was probably his reaction during the quad attempt.
That's Didier at his more restrained.
And here's her problem with the triple lutz. It looked like she was leaning forward in the air position and just couldn't get the free leg through on the landing.
You know, though, when you consider what the Ducheneys went through and admitted that they'd never been under such intense pressure, here's an 18-year-old with by no means the experience of the Ducheneys, almost under as much pressure. They took her to Grenoble to train the last few weeks, and even there they had almost 1,000 people a day watching her practice. So the expectations in France for her are tremendous, and so is the pressure. And all in all, an 18-year-old kid's handled it pretty well.
Very well.
Well, there are the marks. The British judge at 5-1. Canadian Mary Pearson 5-4. There are 4 5-7s on the board. So a real mix here, and a medal possibility in jeopardy.
Second mark.
Two-time European champion. Second set, and look at the difference in marks again. 5 3s, but a 5-8 from the French judge. They rate her 4th for the long program behind Yamaguchi, Kerrigan, and Chen. And overall, Bonaly is 3rd at the moment, with Yamaguchi and Kerrigan still leading the way. But the medal is in jeopardy because Midori Ito is still to come. And Tanya Harding's next when we return to Albertville.